The midwife decided she was going to faint. So she pretty much passed out, and my husband Philip was there by himself for a good minute or so, just as my baby was about to come out of my vagina. So hi there and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Abigail and I make motherhood and lifestyle videos, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my positive birth story. So I really wanted to share this story because I don't think there's enough positive birth stories out there. You can search on YouTube and find loads and loads of stories where things go wrong, terrifying things that happen, but if you're pregnant, you want to be watching a lot of positive birth stories and not kind of all the scary ones. So I thought I would just add to the collection of stories there already are on the internet and let you know what my positive birth story is. So my birth was in a hospital. I live in the UK, so I gave birth in a hospital here. I know there's a lot of positive birth stories on the internet and a lot of them are home births, which are great as well. I would imagine that would be amazing to give birth in your home. But also for those people that are choosing to give birth in a hospital, I think it's important to have lots of positive stories out there, because I've heard a lot of negative stories about giving birth in a hospital, and yeah, it kind of scared me at the time, and I was like, should I have a home birth? Should I have an elective C-section? You kind of see all these options out there, and hospital birth seems to be kind of the one that's the lowest rated. So I was a little bit scared to give birth, but be assured I had an amazing birth and I had a birth in hospital as well. So our choice to have our baby in hospital felt like the safest and best option for us, and looking back on it now, I wouldn't change anything about the experience. So my cramps began on a Saturday night, so it was quite mild cramps, kind of like period pains, and I thought nothing of it. I just thought it's kind of pregnancy pains, because you do get cramps during pregnancy as well. So I just thought it's just pregnancy cramps. But on Sunday morning it was a lot worse, so we went to hospital for the first time. I got checked over and I wasn't even 1 centimetre dilated. I don't think I was dilated at all, even though the pains seemed quite bad by that time. So I got sent back home. I kind of had a bath, the pain subsided a little bit by that point, and then yeah, I watched the world's most dangerous prisons on Netflix, which was interesting. And yeah, I actually ended up watching quite a lot of Netflix during my labour. I had actually created a labour playlist, so with all these songs on it that I was going to listen to be all like relaxed to these songs, and that didn't happen at all. I didn't listen to the songs once in the whole of my labour. I basically watched Netflix, and then when the pain got worse I just kind of concentrated on that. So yeah, I would recommend getting yourself some Netflix or some films to watch during early labour. The second time I went to hospital, I'd phoned up and they said to come back in because the pain was getting a lot worse, and that was on Sunday evening, and it felt like it was getting more unbearable. The pain was kind of coming and going, so I was having a lot of pain, and then sometimes when you get to hospital, like your labour goes back a bit and it gets less painful, which is really frustrating. So that's kind of what happened to me a couple of times. So the second time I went in, I was about 2 to 3 centimetres dilated. But in the UK you can't, well, they don't keep you in until you're about 4 or 5 centimetres dilated. So I was sent home again. This was the hardest part actually, because I think mentally it was hard, because I wanted just to stay in the hospital and just kind of to have my baby now. And the pain was quite bad by this stage as well. I was almost in active labour but not quite. And having to get in the car and then drive all the way back home, which is painful to sit in a car when you're in labour, and then to walk up the stairs as well, it was quite hard mentally. And that's the kind of time that I cried, because I just thought, I can't do this. If this is if it's going to go on for much longer at this kind of level of pain, I'm not sure I can actually deal with this. And I also didn't have the added security of being in a hospital. So yeah, I found that the kind of hardest time when we got sent home the second time. But a note about the pain. So I was told that labour was going to be the most painful thing in the entire world. Like, it was going to be worse than getting hit by a truck. It was just unbearable pain, and be encouraged. It's not an unbearable pain. It is obviously really painful, and you can do things to help ease the pain a little bit, but it is essentially a really painful thing. But yeah, if I can do it, I have a low pain threshold, pretty low pain threshold. And if I can do it, then you can definitely do it. And once you've done it, it's the most empowering feeling ever afterwards. And yeah, it's an amazing feeling. So you can do it if I can do it. So actually, during the time that I went to the hospital for the second time, they gave me painkillers. So they gave me cocodamol, which made me horribly sick. They also gave me an anti-sickness pill, which made me very sick. And then finally they gave me an anti-sickness pill combined with a morphine injection, which worked okay actually for me. Like, it helped ease the pain a little bit. It didn't help that much, like it was okay, and the injection was quite painful as well. So the only painkiller I really had during the whole of my labour was a morphine injection, which wore off pretty fast. And yeah, so most of my pain relief was gas and air. So after I'd gone home on Sunday evening and like tried to get some rest, and I just was in so much pain trying to watch Netflix and like trying to keep the pain like at bay and keep myself distracted. But then finally I went back in, and I was kept in this time. On the Monday evening I was kept in, and yeah, that was the best part of my labour, I think, because I just felt finally I'm going to have this baby, like this baby is coming, and that was such a like a relieving feeling, like it's coming now, and I'm in hospital and I'm in the best care. I don't have to walk home again, like go home in the car again and go up all the stairs. So this was my favourite part of labour. So from when I was in the hospital, I got lots of gas and air, which I quite enjoyed it. It made me feel a bit lightheaded, and it actually helped me really focus on my breathing and zone out other things. So I used the gas and air a lot of my labour, and that's pretty much the only painkiller that I used. I also, what else? I had Lucozade, because I heard that it's really good to take Lucozade when you're in labour because you can't have like food or anything. But the Lucozade, it didn't really help. I was violently sick everywhere multiple times from the Lucozade, and just from the pain in general, so that didn't help me at all. The midwives were amazing at this point, so I didn't have a lot of chats in between my contractions. At the very start I had a couple of chats because the pain wasn't that bad, but when it got worse I didn't have much chatting. I just heard them in the background, but it was like they were amazing. Like, I could tell that they were looking after me. I felt really safe and secure. I felt like they knew what they were doing, so they were regularly checking the baby's heartbeat, and yeah, they were just looking after me really well. So the midwives in the NHS, like, they're amazing. I've heard great things about them from other people, and I can confirm that they are amazing, and they looked after me so well during all of my labour. It was at this point that my husband decided to crack on and get McDonald's, so he left for about half an hour or so to get McDonald's, which I actually didn't care about because I was just so busy focused on my breathing, and I did not want to eat anyway during those painful contractions. Like, I did not want to eat at all. The midwives checked my sanitary pads multiple times, so they give you these really thick sanitary pads, and yeah, they love to look at them and like investigate what's happening, which is lovely, I know. But I wasn't expecting that actually. I think they were trying to check if my waters were broken, and they kept saying multiple times, oh, your waters are broken, and then I get more water and they'd be like, oh, they're broken now. And actually they hadn't broken at all. I'll talk about that a bit later on, but yeah, they hadn't broken at all. I was just leaking, I think. Which is lovely. But yeah, they kept checking that throughout this kind of time. I then got into the birthing pool kind of in the middle of Monday night, and I was actually expecting the water to help a lot more with the pain than it did. I didn't find it helped that much. Like, the position was quite good, so I spent most of my labour kind of crouched over a kind of cushiony kind of soft cube thing, and that really helped fit that position. I know you're meant to move around a lot, and I was completely planning on moving around a lot, but in the end I just couldn't bear the pain unless I was crouched over this thing. So I kind of stayed in that position when I went into the pool, and maybe that slowed down my labour a bit, maybe because I was in the same position all the time, but other positions were just so painful to go into. So I stayed in the birthing pool for a while, and I had my gas and air in there, and I was just breathing in and out, and by this point I was absolutely exhausted. Like, remember, I've been up and with pain since Saturday night. I didn't get much sleep on Saturday night, and then like this is Monday night now, so I was absolutely exhausted from being in pain for that long time. But to put a positive light on things, like, considering I was in active labour and I was progressing, like, the pain wasn't that bad. Like, it's just a positive birth story because it was it went much better than I thought it would. I thought the pain was going to be absolutely unbearable, and I was going to be like, give me an epidural, like, numb it all, I can't deal with it. But actually I wasn't. I was focused and I was determined to get my baby out without much painkiller, and I did, so I was very happy about that. So when I was in the birthing pool, my waters did break. So it was like it was like an explosion sound. It was so bizarre. I like did a really massive push, because by this time I was just about ready to push, and there was like an explosion, as if like it was really strange. But that was when my waters decided to finally break. And by this time I was properly zoned out. Like, I was having my gas and air, had my eyes closed, I was just trying to sleep in between contractions because I was so exhausted. But I could hear the midwives all around me typing up their notes and making sure that I was okay, and yeah, I felt really supported in that environment. And then shortly after that I began to push. So I spent 4.5 hours pushing, which is a lot, and it didn't feel like that much at the time, but that is a long time to push. And I was really wanting to get the baby out myself, and so they let me push for a long time, but in the end it just wasn't happening. She says, I think we're going to do an episiotomy, and she asked me if I was okay with that. And before I went into labour, I did not want an episiotomy. I was like trying to avoid that at all costs. Like, I did not want this, but at this point it seemed like a blessing. I was like, I just want this baby out of my body. I'm in so much pain, I'm exhausted, like, get him out. So yeah, that's what we decided to do. If you don't know what an episiotomy is, it's not the nicest sounding thing. So they basically, when you're giving birth, your hole has to get a certain size for the baby's head to come out. So what I was doing when I was pushing was the baby's head was coming out, like this is like very graphic, but this is like the hole, and then the baby's head was kind of coming through it when I was pushing, but then it was going back, and I was pushing and I was going back, so it wasn't really getting anywhere. So what happens was they needed to make the hole bigger so the baby could just come out. So what they did was they did a snip down from my vaginal hole, and they snipped it so it was big enough so that the baby could come out. So yeah, I could just tell the baby's head was like coming out and going back and coming out, because while I was a bit zoned out, I could hear the midwives and like Philip muttering in the background like that we weren't getting anywhere. So this episiotomy was a massive blessing. So I was in the bed getting my episiotomy, and then the midwife decided she was going to faint. So she pretty much passed out, and my husband Philip was there by himself for a good minute or so, just as my baby was about to come out of my vagina. So that was lovely, and I'm glad that another midwife came in quickly and took over from that, because otherwise Philip would have been single-handedly delivering this baby. And then my baby boy was born. So the feeling was the best feeling in the entire world. Like, it felt like all my insides had come out when this baby was born. That's the best way to describe it, I think. Like, all that I had inside me had just like all come out, like as if it was just my insides had come out. It was amazing. And then I heard Philip shout, "It's a boy!" So yeah, a side note, we were told that our baby was a girl at the gender kind of scan. Turns out it was a boy, and I just found out when Philip shouted, "It's a boy," and we really weren't expecting that. Then they put the baby on me, and I had like my first cuddle with my little boy, and they did me an injection and the placenta came out. Philip cut the cord. It was just lovely. They wheeled me through after that to the labour room to get me stitched up, because I had the episiotomy, so I needed stitches. And Philip had the baby on him, giving him skin to skin contact as well for that time, and it was just lovely. After they stitched me up, I had the first cup of tea that I had in 8 months. So I went off tea completely during my pregnancy, especially at the start when I was just feeling sick from everything, and I went off tea completely. But the first cup of tea in 8 months was amazing. And then they left us in the labour room actually, because they had to get the ward ready for us, and we slept there for like 5 hours. Like, that was the best 5-hour sleep of my entire life. Like, it was just amazing, and we just had the best nap, and the baby slept, Philip slept, and I slept. And that relief of like no pain and just sleep after that long, oh, it was just amazing. So that's my positive birth story. So while I know I talked about the pain and that it was quite painful, remember that I had a morphine injection that lasted for not very long, and I had gas and air, and that was it. Like, I didn't have an epidural or anything, and it was bearable, the pain. So I would encourage you, if the pain's scaring you, don't be scared by it. Watch my other videos about preparing for labour mentally, and then just relax. And yeah, it's going to be the best experience of your life probably, having this baby. Like, it was an amazing experience, and I think about being in labour and having my baby so often, and I think of it in like a really happy way and in a really positive light, because it was just amazing. The NHS staff were so supportive. They were just great. Like, they just felt kind of, you felt really close to them after that, and they really were like, they cared, and they were just an amazing support. And of course my husband was absolutely amazing throughout the whole process as well, which really helps. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos on motherhood, then please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.